Sometimes life doesn't fall apart in one loud explosion. Sometimes it collapses quietly, in a single morning, with a single signature. And sometimes, it is saved by the one person the world never thought mattered. That morning, at exactly 7:55 a.m., billionaire businessman Adrian Cole stood outside the boardroom of his own company, holding the document that would end everything he had built. 20 years of work. 20 years of sacrifice. 20 years of proving he was strong enough, smart enough, ruthless enough. At 8 a.m., he would sign his bankruptcy. Everyone thought he deserved it. Everyone thought he had fallen too far to rise again. Everyone except the woman who cleaned those same hallways every dawn. The woman no one ever saw. The woman who would change his entire destiny in less than 5 minutes. Her name was Rosa Martinez. And she noticed something no one else did. Something that would shake the world of billionaires and boardrooms. Something that would make you believe, once again, that even the smallest person can make the biggest difference. The sun was only beginning to slip through the glass towers of Cole Industries as Rosa pushed her cleaning cart down the silent executive corridor. She always worked before sunrise, before the power suits arrived, before the noise, before anyone remembered she existed. She didn't mind. She liked quiet. Quiet didn't judge you. Quiet didn't ask why you worked 3 jobs or why your daughter needed expensive medicine or why life felt harder every single year. She wiped the large conference table, humming softly, until she noticed a stack of papers left carelessly near the head chair. She didn't mean to look, but one sentence caught her eye. Final declaration of bankruptcy. Her breath hitched. This couldn't be. The Adrian Cole? The man whose company practically owned the entire building? She gently set the papers back, telling herself it wasn't her business. She was just the cleaning lady. People like her didn't step into storms that belonged to the rich. But then she saw it. A number on the document. Small, hidden, almost invisible to anyone not paying attention. But Rosa had a habit of noticing details most people missed. The date. The debt amount. The signature line. Something didn't match. It was like the numbers had been changed. Manipulated. Her heartbeat quickened. Someone had tampered with this. Before she could think more, the elevator dinged. Adrian Cole stepped out. The billionaire who once walked with the confidence of a king now moved with the exhaustion of a man carrying mountains. His suit wasn't perfect. His tie was crooked. And his eyes, they looked empty. He didn't even notice Rosa standing there. He just sat at the head of the table, pulled out a pen, and stared at the document that would bury him. Rosa swallowed hard. Her hands shook. She knew she should stay quiet. She knew her job depended on silence. But something inside her, a whisper, a push, a courage she didn't know she still had, pulled the truth out of her. "Mr. Cole, please don't sign that." Adrian stiffened. Slowly, he looked up, surprised to hear a voice. "I'm sorry," Rosa added quickly. "I know it's not my place. But I think someone changed some of the numbers." On page 2. There was a long pause. A dangerous pause. What did you say? Adrian asked, his voice low and exhausted. She pointed with trembling fingers. There. That line. The decimals. The total debt. It doesn't match the earlier summary. Adrian frowned, not annoyed, confused. He flipped through the pages. Then he froze. She was right. Not even his lawyers noticed it. Not even his board. Not even he, the man who built an empire. Someone had altered the decimal amounts, turning a manageable debt into a catastrophic one. Someone wanted this bankruptcy. Someone wanted him gone. Adrian looked up at her again, but this time, there was no superiority in his eyes. Only shock. How did you even notice that?" he whispered. Rosa shrugged shyly. "I'm used to checking small print. My daughter's medical forms always hide important things." Something in his expression softened. Before either of them could speak again, the board members started entering the hallway. Rosa quickly stepped aside. Adrian stood, gripping the bankrupt document like it was poison. "Wait," he said suddenly, turning toward her. "Don't go." No one ever said that to her. Not in this building. Not in this lifetime. But Rosa stopped. And Adrian Cole, billionaire, ruined yet still standing, spoke the words that would change both their lives. "I need your help." Chapter 2. The boardroom filled with polished shoes, expensive suits, and fake smiles. These were the people who had dined with Adrian, praised him, envied him, and now waited eagerly to watch him lose everything. Adrian placed the bankruptcy document on the table. The room went silent. "We're ready for you to sign," the lead board member said smoothly. Rosa stood by the door, hidden but listening, her heart pounding. Adrian tapped the document. "Before I sign," he said quietly, "I want to ask, who changed these numbers?" The board members stiffened. "What numbers?" one of them asked too quickly. "These," Adrian replied, flipping the paper. "The decimals. The totals. The date. Someone manipulated this. And the woman who cleans this floor spotted it." The boardroom reacted with disbelief, some laughing under their breath. "A cleaning lady? Adrian, be serious." But Adrian didn't laugh. "She found what none of you did," he said coldly. "Which makes me wonder, why you didn't." For the first time, the power shifted. The room's arrogance cracked. The lead board member's jaw tightened. "Adrian, if you're accusing us..." "I'm accusing someone," Adrian replied. "And I'll find out who." A few whispered, panicked glances passed between two board members, enough for Adrian to notice. He pushed the document aside. "I'm not signing anything today." Chaos erupted. Accusations. Anger. Threats. But Adrian didn't care. He looked toward the door. "Rosa," he called softly. She stepped in, nervous but brave. "This woman saved my company today. She saw what all of you missed." The room fell silent again. Adrian turned back to Rosa. "Thank you," he said, his voice breaking in the most human way she had ever heard from a powerful man. She shook her head softly. "I just did what was right." Adrian smiled for the first time in months. And from that moment, everything changed. He launched an internal investigation that exposed 2 board members who had been plotting to force the bankruptcy and buy the company's assets for themselves. They were removed, charged, and publicly disgraced. Within weeks, Adrian stabilized the company. Within months, he rebuilt it stronger than before. But the biggest change wasn't in business. It was in him. He visited the cleaning staff more often, listened to their stories, raised their salaries, started a fund for employees with medical needs after learning about Rosa's daughter. And one day, he asked Rosa to meet him in the executive office. Not to offer her cleaning supplies. Not to scold her for speaking out. But to hand her something handwritten. A promotion. A scholarship for her daughter. And a personal thank you letter that said, "You reminded me that even when the world collapses, kindness rebuilds it. You saved more than my company. You saved me." Rosa's eyes filled with tears she had been holding in for years. Adrian took a deep breath. And with a humility the world never expected from a billionaire, he said, "You saw me when no one else did. And I will never forget that." The world watched Adrian rise again. But only he knew the truth. He hadn't been saved by money, or power, or strategy. He had been saved by a woman most people walked past every morning, without ever seeing her at all. A woman whose courage changed everything. A woman who proved that sometimes the greatest heroes wear uniforms no one notices. The signature that was supposed to end his life ended up beginning the most meaningful chapter instead. Because sometimes, the person who saves you isn't the richest, the smartest, or the strongest. Sometimes, it is simply the person who cared enough to speak up. And that is what changes destinies.